Hey, welcome to the video. As you may notice, that the game I'm playing at the moment is Black Desert Online. Well, you'd know that obviously reading the title description and looking at the thumbnail. This MMO RPG that I'm playing on the Xbox One. This is not a review and it's not an impressions video to say. It's just me playing the game, obviously what I think of it while I'm playing, and it's obviously, if you look through my previous videos, I don't normally talk, so this is my first proper live commentary playing the game. So yeah, we'll get into the video, and just to let you know, obviously excuse the quality of the mic, it's not properly set up. It's don't get me wrong, it's a good mic, it's just how it's set up with the settings, all the other equipment, bells and whistles, I've not set up all of that. So yeah, we'll get into the video, and so far obviously you may notice, obviously I'm in a safe zone in one of the towns, and visually Black Desert Online looks really nice. Even on the original Xbox, that's what I'm currently playing it on. This is not the Xbox One X, and obviously if you were playing it on PC, obviously the graphic fidelity would obviously be a hell of a lot higher. Another part obviously we'll look at is obviously the combat. I've just drawn my sword. Now with this, obviously you'll notice if you do play the game, like for the first time, you'll notice the movement is a little different to normal third-person games, where normally you'd be able to like spin around in a circle. If I try to do that, you'll notice it's not quite doing it. That's because your actual camera movement and your overall movement is based on where you're looking. So if I wanted to spin around in a circle, I would have to spin the camera all the way around. But when it actually comes to the combat, it feels more like you would a third-person shooter or first-person shooter, in the sense that when you attack where you're looking. So, like as you can see there, obviously you can walk backwards and it'll do an automatic block. You can press the left bumper to hold the block. You've got your basic attack, which is the right bumper, or you can hold it down. You've got a secondary attack, which is the right trigger. You've got a dash. You've also got special prompts, which is your B and X button. So at the minute I've got that, which is a thrust. But with the X, I haven't got that unlocked yet, so I'm only level 12. I was 9 a moment ago. What you'll notice, I've obviously skipped the very beginning of the game, the character creation and the just overall starting tutorial. There's plenty of videos out there that will show you the character customization and beginning quest steps where you just talk to generic NPCs, move from A to B. And I think I've only gone to 2 actual locations. And some of those videos, they could be like 30 minutes to an hour and you're not really seeing any gameplay. And I'd rather just skip past that and just get straight into it. I know obviously saying that, obviously I'm talking about very basic things on the game right at the start, but for those of you that are thinking about getting the game, I thought I'd just show that up. One thing you'll notice as well is on the left of the screen, that's all open and free. Normally when you come into the game, you would have all of this, all the chat box and all the server chat boxes and everyone else talking and everything else, and it can fill up quite a bit on your screen. And there's a lot of people that obviously don't want that on the screen while they're playing. What you can do on there is, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice circular dials. You can actually put the chat boxes like on the left set to one of your ring tabs in the options. Like as you'll notice, obviously there's a lot of options on the screen. There's a ring menu set in there. If you go into the ring menu, you can create shortcuts for some of the other options. So you can create the shortcut for the chat box to be on one of your ring menus. I put it on the left ring menu. So when I press left on the D-pad, it'll bring the ring menu up, which obviously I can also use for health files, all different things like that, depending on obviously what I put into it. If I decide to just press up on the D-pad, which is the normal ring dial, obviously I've got more options. And like when I was showing the abilities earlier, you can look at your skills. When you look at your skills, obviously you can see exactly what they're called, what button presses you've got to do to obviously input them, what level to unlock them. It obviously gives you the information on the left of the screen. One thing, unlike some other basic MMO games, you normally have a combat box at the bottom of the screen, which would normally be either center at the bottom of the screen, like how my button prompts are now, or it would be on the right hand side of the screen, and they would be all your button presses for your moves. So it would say like press Y for a particular attack, press B for another attack, press X for another attack, and so forth. And watch the cooldowns on those attacks, because you can't spam all of them. You can only spam obviously your basic attacks, which on this game it removes that, and you've basically got like an energy stamina bar, which obviously shows how much you can spam your moves and obviously certain attacks. But another point with this game is it's like a traditional fighting game where you learn the moves, and when you look at the move sets, like there where you got evasion, where it's like left stick, left, right, or down with the left trigger, which obviously you got different moves, and it's like with this one here, you got the left stick to the left or right with the left trigger, and it'll show you what that move does. But all these combinations that you're looking at on the skill screen now, so like dark shadow there, left bumper, which shows you what you're doing, which is a block, a guard. All these button prompts, like a traditional fighting game, is not displayed on screen. You have to remember the moves. So if you don't want to remember the moves, obviously you're going to have to keep looking at this skill page. But as you play through the game, it'll be like most other games. You remember the moves that you like using. Same with the fighting game. You imagine Street Fighter, down, quarter circle, forward, punch for reuse fireball. You would obviously, the more you do it, obviously you remember. Same with other moves. The more you play it, the more you go learn. Now that I've gone over a couple of those basic bits there, you get some basic information coming up on the screen from the server, and in the top right corner you'll see the mini-map, and the large blue marker that's showing up on the mini-map is a waypoint that I've got set, and you'll see the travel line going along, and that's to the objective that is my current quest step. You can obviously set that yourself, or make your own and go to wherever you want. Now this isn't just the map, the map is huge, there's loads, but I ain't going to go over the whole lot. The game has a ridiculous amount of depth to the game compared to your standard generic MMO like Terra or Skyforge. But one thing I do like about this game, especially with the fact that it's a large open world, is too many games I see where they have massive open world but there's nothing in that open world space. Like, you could be running around for ages before you encounter enemies, NPCs, and it gets tedious, it gets boring. So if you're having to do a fetch quest or any type of quest, if you're travelling long distance and you're not getting any player engagement from the game, like you're not encountering enemies or anything, it gets very tedious. It gets boring just to run back and forth without doing anything. But with this game, you'll find that there's an absolute barrage of enemies outside this town. They're all over the place. It's littered with enemies and things to do. Whether it's like scavenging bushes, whether it's fighting enemies, like seeing other NPCs. The world is full of things to encounter and interact with, which is a welcome change compared to some other games that are out there. Another point you'll notice on the minimap, as the cone of vision, as I'm tilting the camera around, you'll notice other markers that prompt up. Now, I'm just going to use the Xbox now and zoom in onto the minimap so you can see what I'm on about. Right, as you can see there, obviously I've zoomed in on a minimap, and you'll notice obviously red markers, which are obviously enemies. Question marks are normally other NPCs that you can communicate with to get side quests, main quests, other tips and information, and build your knowledge up with NPCs. The green squares, I'm not 100%, but they're either vendors, or I could be wrong on this, they're either vendors or where it's you can get equipment. So obviously there it looks like a sword and shield and some sort of scythe, pickaxe kind of thing. And obviously just below, obviously you got your current quest step, the altar of Dark Wrath, defeat the group of steel imps around the altar of Agris, 0 out of 50. Now I'll pan back out so you can see what I'm doing. Right, trying to think if there's anything else to just quickly cover. Yeah, obviously as you notice, obviously on the settings menu, obviously there's quite a bit obviously in the settings there. You've got other like knowledge, obviously your party stuff, your profile, the Pearl Shop, that's another one as well. If we go to the Pearl Shop, this is your in-game store. Now there's mixed results if you do any research on this game. People will say it's just blatant pay to win, yet you'll have the other side of that group that will say no, it's not. Now depending on what aspect you're looking at pay to win, if you're looking, I don't know, pets for instance, pets can be a viable help, and this like an extra added bonus to your playthrough on the game that severely helps you. So if you're using real money to buy more pets, then yeah, I can see how people would say pay to win, but it's not pay to win per se. It just makes you more efficient, like when you're grinding like enemies and items. When it comes to outfits, obviously that's just cosmetic, obviously just like it says on the tin, obviously outfit, costume, like those kind of things. Obviously that doesn't bother me at all, with the fact that they charge for that. Don't get me wrong, obviously all this should be earnable in game anyway, unless it's a free to play game, then people have to make money somehow from a business point of view. Now there are some, I think they're like a bit like boosters. I'm trying to think where they are now. Well, you normally have like there's like these things that can increase your XP gains and things like that. So obviously they can be obviously classed as pay to win. Obviously if you're buying those. The other thing as well with the game, obviously you got inventory and you've got slot expansions, and obviously your weight, how much weight you can carry, because it will impede your combat, your maneuverability, and what you can carry obviously in your inventory. Personally, when I look at some of these and the prices, these, when you look at them, like just saying there, weight limit plus 200 LT, 1,700 pearls. The only issue with these is you can only buy one per character. So if you had another character and you wanted to have that same benefit, you would have to buy it again, which it should be shared. Like, in my opinion, I think it should be shared. So if you had another character, they would have that extra weight limit, and the same with the inventory limit. Obviously, you can have permanent inventory expansion, which I think should be across the board, across your characters. But now that I've gone over this, because obviously probably had like, what, 15 minutes something? Yeah, about 15 minutes of me just rambling on, talking about basic things of the game. So yeah, if we follow this track line. Oh, another thing as well, this track line that tells you, it's guiding you to the actual quest, you can actually click the left stick and it will automatically run. It'll automatically run there itself, so you don't have to press anything. It'll automatically take you there. Now I'm going to obviously stop doing that. Now here's like the open world. Now I've come out of the safe zone, and as you'll notice, enemies everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There's a player here crawling around, so there are other players playing. But you'll notice the area is full of enemies and things to encounter and fight. So now I'm obviously going to do some of the combat just to show you. Now, where it's got here, oh, hang on. Right, where it's got here, where you can pick up loot from the bodies, this is where your pets will come in handy, because they'll automatically do that for you without you having to go and do it. Now, I know this is pretty self-explanatory for people that play MMO games, but for people that don't play MMO games, this is sort of the points I'm putting across in the video for people that have never played an MMO or are thinking about getting something like Black Desert. Right, that's some of the basic gameplay. Obviously, I'm an absolute noob when it comes to this game. Like, I've literally just started. I just skipped a couple of the beginning bits, and I'm not very far into the game. So obviously, this isn't from the perspective of an end game player, someone that's obviously gone into depth doing the whole game. Obviously, if you want that kind of video, your best bet is going to those individuals that have done the game, mastered the game, know the ins and outs to all the parts of the game. This just obviously my impressions, my views, my looks as I'm playing the beginning. So as you'll notice obviously in the combat, like with obviously basic attacks, and some of the special attacks. But another point you'll notice as well, like where you can attack going forward, but you'll notice like where with the omnidirectional points where you can attack, but you can also, if you're going left or right on the joystick, you'll do like strafe attacks that gets you out of harm's way but also attacks the enemy at the same time. That's one of the special attacks where you do a dash going in and launch into the air. Now I'm going to move on to the objective marker. It says I'm in a safe zone apparently, even though there's an enemy right there. Obviously you'll notice at the bottom there's a silver bar and it's filling up now. That silver bar is your stamina, so as I get the sprint on the go, you'll notice the stamina go down. There's that grey bar where my legs are. Now above my character you'll notice a red bar, which is obviously my health, and then obviously you'll notice like a purpley blue bar underneath, which is my energy, I should say, for my attacks, but it's also in the top left hand corner of the screen. Alright, so here's one of the NPCs that obviously they're just randomly in the open. Node manager, I don't want to deal with that just yet. Alright, now as you can tell, even in the background there's some popping coming in, obviously on the background, obviously with the draw distance. I assume that's going to obviously more noticeable on the standard Xbox over the Xbox One X, where it won't be as bad. It'll probably still be there, but not as bad. But obviously, as we know, the consoles aren't like high-end PCs. They're a cheap budget PC, but like to some degree, but they're obviously way off and they're years behind at the moment. But it's nice to see some PC MMOs coming to consoles nowadays. One thing I will say is if you like RPG games and you like MMOs and you want an MMO with more depth than like Skyforge or like Terra, Black Desert Online is going to be worth your time. The only thing that worries me is the PvP aspect of it, because once you get to a certain level, from what I hear, it's pretty much forced PvP, where you're going out doing questing or a side quest or whatever you want to do, and other players will just naturally be able to attack you without warning, so you obviously have to deal with that. I'm not 100% what level it is when that emerges, but I've got a rough idea. I'm pretty sure it's like 49 or something like that. I'm not 100% on that, but it's roughly what I heard. Right, I just find it funny how these enemies just pretty much loiter around and they're not really responding to the fact that I'm attacking their allies. Alright, one's got away. I'll just clear him off. Oh, they just keep spawning. Oh, okay. So that's if the enemies just constantly keep spawning, then obviously that's going to be easy for people who just want to level up fast. Like, well, yeah, like that, straighten up right next to me then. That came in handy. Right, I think I'll make a move out of here. Whoa, is this a boss? Okay, I'll summon the Black Spirit. Right, this Black Spirit, it's one that gives you obviously quest steps. I'm obviously being attacked here, so I've got to again, like I say, obviously with the combat, the effects off the blades, the character motion, everything does still feel smooth, like on the console, and it still visually like looks really nice. Even though you're probably going to get some frame drops and a couple of minor bits going on with the game, with it being on console compared to PC. Summon the spirit again to get one of my rewards. As you'll notice, obviously those quests are quite easy to just whip through them, so I've just been given some slot or inventory expansion, so I have a look there. Yeah, so like here, inventory expansion increased even more. So the game does give you some of this stuff free. So it'd be interesting to see how this blocks now. Yeah, so it does. If you're walking backwards, it does an automatic block, as long as you're looking in their direction. Alright, the next step I've got at the minute is defeat the Steel Imp Warriors. Alright, see there where there's a quest objective in the background? Key objective creatures tend to show up as glowing like a light blue. Oh yeah, there's a jump as well, I forgot about that. Right, so this is the guy with the shield that I've got to deal with. Right, so that's him dealt with. Right, there's another one there behind me. 2 more. Oh, there's another player here, a wizard or a mage. See how this plays out. So as you can see here, obviously that's a ranged class. Obviously, if you've played any RPG kind of game before, obviously you'll know it's a ranged class. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to kill all of those with the attacks. Seems to be taking a bit longer than this class, which, if you don't know, the class I'm playing is the Dark Knight. Right, I'm going to carry on with the quest because just watching the mage isn't going to be entertaining enough for me. I'm not sure if this is entertaining or not for you. Right, so that objective's done now, so I can summon the demon or ghost or whatever it is. Right, that's that done. Right, a new quest. Meet Tiny Nose at the altar of Agaris. It's obviously where that blue marker is. I'm not sure if these are better than mine or not. Nope. Nope. Right. I'm not sure if I can sell or move this. Oh, I've probably got to go to a vendor to sell them. Right, so here's my objective point. I'm not sure if I'm going to be attacked. Nope. Oh, I might be by this guy. Right, quest complete. What you'll notice during playing the game is as you talk to more NPCs and characters, you'll gain knowledge on them. So obviously now there's a quest bit that's come up for a boss, Red Nose, engulfed in darkness. What do you want me to do? Once you acquire knowledge of a monster, it will be possible to gauge its HP. Knowledge of a monster can be acquired at random by defeating it. Go to the place designated by the Black Spirit and use the scroll to summon and defeat Red Nose. Right, so in this video obviously you're going to see a boss fight and see how that plays out. Should you fail to defeat Red Nose, you can retry the quest by cancelling and accepting it again. However, you must discard the summon scroll in order to receive the quest again. Right, that's good to know.
Nice to do.
Right. Oh shit, is that it? Or is it that? What the hell's that? Right, that's obviously a big thing to deal with. I'm not sure if I'm meant to be dealing with that or not. Someone's obviously fighting it. I have no idea on its health. Right, I'll ignore that and use this scroll. Investigate the portal. Oh yeah, it is that. Right, for some reason I'm stuck. Right. You'll notice the dash that I did to the side, so like this, that's double tapping the left joystick, left or right. Oh. Oh, this is a bit dangerous. Right, refilled my health. It's obviously getting mashed a bit there. As you'll see on the top, he's probably one shot off. Yep. Alright, first boss encounter, and that was alright. Mashed me up a bit at first, but luckily I had health potions to refill it back up. Oh, he's come back, has he? Oh, it's another player. Right, summon the spirit. Right, so that's complete. The compliment of a veteran. And the black spirit gift. Right, so that gave me something. Elsh weapon box. Oh, a more powerful weapon. Right, so let's change my sword. Alright, event value pack. Okay. I'm not sure where all these items are. Check the skills. Right, learnable. Right, so I've got 10 out of 21. Darkness burst. Ooh. Okay. Alright, so this that's a passive. That's 3 points, 5 points, 5 points, 7 points. Is that any good though? I don't know. I'll learn that. And I'll learn that. Alright, there's obviously a character over here. Needs my assistance. Combat skill points obtained. Got anything new? Nope. Right, so inventory and expansion have gone up again. So straight away, normally you would only have so many bars, but it tends to give you a certain amount. But if you want more, you can get them from the Pearl shop, but obviously that's premium currency. Your weight limit, as you'll notice in the bottom of the screen, my maximum weight limit I can carry is 444, and what I'm carrying at the minute is currently 54.7. so if later on into the game that you do find yourself overweight, then obviously you can get more like weight limit and inventory space and things like that, but that's entirely down to you. And obviously that'll be from obviously the cash shop. Alright, so I'm level 14 now. I was 12. And just for a first beginning part, this is Black Desert Online. I'm just going to run to my next marker just to see how it goes. So this just giving a quick overview of the combat, what a boss is like, well the first boss, how the pathing is like with going to your next objectives, how the movement is, obviously how the game visually looks while you're playing, what the AI is like, which obviously you don't need super smart AI in a game like this. They're just mobs of enemies to whale down. That's what they're there for, really. It's the bosses that are more needed to be the ones that are a bit smarter. Right, now I'm in a new location here. Welcome, you discovered a new area, potato farming. Alright.
You've come to Logia Farm. Goblins are cowards. They shiver in fear instead of getting rid of apes and foxes.
Right, so hiring goblins. 5 out of 32. I'm not 100% sure what that is.
You can invest in our farm node through me.
Right. Take the porter to Indicil. I assume that's him. I've got to transport that guy there. Yeah. So I'll have to transport him and protect him as the quests go on. Oh, there's quite a few of them. I'm not sure how to go about doing that. I presume I go up to him and just start it. Alright, what's this character here?
Would you like to plant some flowers?
Would I like to plant some flowers?
We have a bunch of good seeds. Is there anything you need? You're also one of the flowers.
No, I don't want to plant flowers at the minute. Right, here's a kid.
We'll protect these flowers.
Okay, there's a villager. Alright, I see another question mark around here. Ah, here we are.
I am great. This stone will not be given to anyone.
Alright, so that's like some weird golem looking thing. Right, now something that's showing up now on the interaction is I can either talk to him when you hold Y, or you can press Y once and it'll switch it to greet or steal. So what I'll do is I'll greet.
Don't get any closer. Won't show it to anyone.
Alright, that's the brief early part of the game, just to show you on Black Desert Online. If you want me to do a follow-up video or carry on doing this kind of thing, or obviously I'll do it a bit differently, obviously depending on the game. If it's a game I know very well, that I play a lot of, obviously the commentary will be very different because I'll actually know quite a bit more about the game at the time. But Black Desert Online, if I was to do a first impressions, the combat's good, it's enjoyable, vast open world, looks nice, the world's full of enemies and NPCs to actually interact with. It's not a bland open space of nothing. The quests are obviously very generic, but when it comes to the quests and stories and MMOs, you're not going to be, I don't think there's many out there that actually have really good engaging stories or quests. You may get the odd quest now and then that's got more depth to it than some of the others, but 9 times out of 10 they're pretty generic, and it's just all about the loot, the grinding, getting to the end game, and all those kind of premises in this kind of game. Overall, considering the price tag at the minute, obviously there's different editions of the game that you can get. Obviously you got the standard, deluxe and ultimate editions. They each have their own different things that you can get with it. I personally, right from what I've read, the middle range one is not really worth it. You're better off getting the standard edition or the big boy edition, like the ultimate edition. But you can get the game as it is without all those extra bells and whistles, and it's about $10 or £8. So considering it's really cheap, if you just want to buy the game in as a vanilla state of a game without extra add-ons and things given to you for the different editions, it's worth playing. But is it a game that I'd recommend to people that have never played an MMO game? Personally, I'd recommend downloading some free-to-play MMOs like Skyforge or Terra, just to give them a try so you get a rough idea of the concept of what an MMO is, and what you're actually going to be doing, like whether it be dungeon grinding or raids, whether the repetitive nature of the quests is too tedious for you or whether you like that kind of thing, whether the grind's any good. But each MMO presents itself very differently, and some do it really well with the grind, but other aspects of that game might not be as good, or you may have the end game's really good but the previous segments beforehand might not be. The open world might be huge but with not really any depth in it. You could end up having a game a bit like this where it's a huge open world but there's a ton of depth with the amount of enemy AI and NPCs to interact with. And then obviously you've got games a bit like this and some others where it can feel overwhelming, where there's too much stuff to do, there's too many things to learn, there's too many things to interact with. So if you've not played an MMO game before, I'd start at the bottom and work your way up. And if you like games like Skyforge, Terra, some of the more simplistic MMOs in my opinion, try those out first, so you sort of know what you're getting in for. And then when you want, if it's not enough for you and you want one with a bit more depth and a bit more variety and things going on in that game, then Black Desert Online is easily an easy choice to get into considering how cheap it is to buy. You've also got Elder Scrolls Online, which obviously I know it had a rocky launch on console, but with all the updates, changes and everything else that it's had over time, obviously it's made it a hell of a lot better. And there's a lot of people that say that it's a really good MMO game now, compared to how it was on launch. And then obviously if you're on PC, obviously you got your World of Warcraft, you've got tons of MMOs on PC, that's like the home of MMOs, like PC is. But if you're on console, you've only got a select number, and obviously if you're on PlayStation, obviously you've got Final Fantasy 14, but that's a premium subscription. I think you have to pay monthly, to play that. It's not just buy once or free to play, you have to pay a monthly subscription. Whereas a lot of these other free to play ones, they do have like premium days in them where you can pay extra and get those premium days as if you were a premium subscribed member. But once it runs out, those bonuses just go from you. You can just carry on playing the game. But yeah, Black Desert Online for the price, $10 or £8. It's worth a try. If you don't like it, you haven't really lost the full price of a AAA title game that you would normally pay $50, $60 or £50, £60 or whatever on. Yeah, it's worth a try if you've got a few quid spare or a few dollars just to throw at it. If not, try a free to play one. Yeah, until I do my next video, and whether it's going to be live commentary or not, I'll put a mixture of all sorts. Hopefully I'll probably do more of these at some point. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.